Council, Highway Department. How are you? Good. How are you? Morning, everyone. Morning. Patching, some brush work. We're working on project, final project, paving season. Sitting at home, and I think we need a little more. Can't hear him, Scott. Okay. Any better?
Talk. Whoa, that'll work. So we are working on the truck spec we talked about earlier. I haven't got that figured out quite yet. We're going to put a spec together where we did tri-axle and a tandem. We kind of re-looked at it. We may end up wanting to do 2 tri-axles instead of a tandem and a tri-axle. When you do the math and you figure out trips to the quarry and the extra 5 ton you're hauling, it may make sense to do that. So we're looking on that, working on that right now. We got the small structural project done on 100 South. Out there, I want to say Virginia Canascus, if you know what that is, between 600 and 700 east, I think. That was a joint venture we did with White, an old stone arch. They took it out. We supplied the pipe. They put the pipe in, and we supplied the pipe and did the concrete headwall. That's pretty much it. I don't think I have anything else. Phil's not going to be here today. He's ill this morning, but I don't think he had a whole lot to report anyway. The bridge is down on 50 north over Polywog, punched out, and it's down there.
Larry, we've received a couple of communications about the ADA compliance, and how is that going?
I haven't had any contact lately, and as far as I know, they're working on it. I don't really know quite where we are. They haven't contacted me, and I haven't got hold of them, but it's in the process, so I'll touch base with them and see where they are.
The one communication, it said that we needed to designate a person who's responsible.
Right.
Have you been designated as that person?
No, and I think you'll probably find the recommendation will be that I wouldn't be the person responsible. I don't know what they're going to recommend, but I would guess, what I've thought about in the past is that the option would be either a commissioner or someone like Steve Edson. Steve's probably not going to be excited about it. Do that, but it's more of a person that's more accessible and responsible in the courthouse or whatever represents the whole county. It's really not a highway issue.
Right. I just didn't know if we had had one in the past.
No, I kind of inherited it just as all the other county superintendents have, because that's been their method of pulling our string is to get, you guys aren't going to get more funding, or the guys that go after bridge funding and road funding from the highway or from the federal. So that's been their language. But typically, it's a big deal with the highway department.
Do you know if the city's doing this?
I don't know where they are. I know the first session that I attended, Gary Hart was there as well. But I don't know where they are with it. They have a bigger problem than we do, really, because they've got so much sidewalk and they got a lot more compliance issues.
That's why I didn't understand why the push was for us to go through this firm to do our to assess our areas, but then they're not doing it. So I don't know who's doing it for now.
Everybody has to do it, doesn't matter. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, they may be working, I don't know. I know that Gary Hart came back, turned it all over to the current mayor, which was the previous mayor. So where it went from there, I don't know.
Okay, so you're not really receiving much communication from the DLZ people, because they were here and interviewed people, and
Right.
that's about all the farther you know we've got.
Right, I haven't gotten an update lately. I get a hold of them and say, where are you?
I just wondered how it's going, since we've gotten both of this.
Kind of the big deal is the transition plan itself, which is, that there's something using a lever to, as soon as you start really thinking about that, it's like, well, how good is the plan? Is it worth anything? So,
I talked to them when they were doing the courthouse here, they said everything was going good. While they were here, everything was major. Yes, it's something, the biggest things after we get that, a lot of money.
so you got the plan, you got the assessment. The assessment's the big part, which is the measuring. And that's when you find out how compliant or uncompliant you are.
Okay.
Thanks, Larry. Sheriff?
This is an ordinance that we must look at. I don't know if you guys have to approve it first, but it's for a sex offender registry fee. And I think it's worded properly all the way through. You can have John look over it or something like that. But what I'd like to do, and a lot of other counties do it, they charge sex offenders. People have to register with us, $50 initial fee when they register. And then every time they move, it's like a $5 fee if they move residents to somewhere else in the county. And because they're dropping them off out there at 31 and 28, they have to come in within 3 days and register. And a lot of them are not from here, so I think we ought to collect money off of them. And that will help us with equipment for the sex offender registry, which I've got Corey Henderson working. He is doing the sex offender. He's doing a really good job of keeping tabs on top of where everybody is. He goes out and checks every 30 to 60 days just to make sure they're still there.
Where did this proposed ordinance come from? Who drew this up?
Corey worked on it. He got it from, I think, another county, and I think it's out of Madison County, to be honest. But I went through it, and I think it's been pretty similar to what our other ordinances, the way they read.
Yeah, I would suggest we have John look at it before we adopt it.
Right, and then I think you guys approve it, then I gotta go to the council, because it's a money thing, and they have to approve it to create a new fund and everything.
What would you anticipate using the 90% of those fees for?
Well, they have to be used for things that deal with sex offenders. Registry, computers that we use, like I've got 3 people who do the sex offender registry, 2 jailers and Corey. And I can buy them computers out of that fund. You can use, let's say if we had one of the jailers want to go out and check and use one of the cars, they can use that to be a check vehicle. They can use gas. They can do a couple things that are dealing with sex offenders.
How many sex offenders do we have?
In the county?
Yeah. I mean, how much money is this going to bring in?
It's not going to bring a lot. I mean, but every time because see, they drop them out 31. They have a month to stay, and then of course they move on. We hope. They don't pull up residents here, but with their initial registration fee, we collect on them doing that. Then our local ones we would have, and we'll probably talk, yes, around 20.
So these ones that only stay here a month, do they have to register?
Absolutely.
Okay, and do they? So they would, all those people would pay $50 even though they're maybe only for 1 month?
Right. And the thing I look at is, you know, I think that our Department of Corrections is doing a terrible job because they drop them off. They give them a bus ticket. They get vouchers and stuff like that. They drop them off out here with no vehicle. They tell them they have like 2 weeks to get a job. So they've got to walk 5 miles just to come in and register. 4 miles into town just to register with this. So that's we had some problems with a few of them. Walking the highways at night, late at night, stuff coming to town. So
And you are not being kept informed when they, from the Department of Corrections, when they do put people there?
they're not telling, they don't tell me, I just kind of find out as they come in and register. They don't send me anything. But they do have to register in 3 days to get.
This proposed ordinance has 90% of the funds where the fee stays in the county and 10% goes to the state. Is that right?
That's the way I read it, I don't know. Then, I mean, it would go to their the thing, the sex offender registry also that they run, so it would help out.
It designates the fund.
Yeah.
All right.
And then, since we're on ordinances, these other two, the turn around the road one, I've got I don't know what to do. I don't know anything about farming, I'll be honest. But when the road gets soft, I don't care if you're turning into the field or turning around, I think it's going to heat the road up. Either way. If it's soft, if it's 95 degrees or something like that, the road's soft, whether you're turning in or turning around, I think it does the same thing. So, I mean, it's going to be very hard to enforce in that sense. I'm not really wanting to see that ordinance. The semi-trailers through the addition, very hard to enforce, but I understand it and that's fine. People don't want semis driving down the road by their house making noise at different hours of the night. So,
Well, yeah, the problem there with Prairie Acres is if the semi gets in there, they can't.
they're going to turn around, yeah. They're
That's
going to have
the
trouble.
problem.
Right. They're going to have trouble getting turned around or whatever. So I think we need to probably get something out where there is an access road to Robert Miller off of 600 when they get it done there. They can use the access road, and that's the only way they get in. Because really, you think about 600, when a semi turns on it, it's loaded down. It'll be pretty tough on the road there too. You might have to beef up that area there with the access road. That's it. Now, go elsewhere. In the jail, got some serious problems with their hot water heater. It keeps kicking off constantly. I think over the weekend they reset it 13, 14 times. It's going to cost for the hot water heater just a rough. I did not get the estimates yet. They haven't given to me, but I have County Brothers and JMI coming in, give me estimates on a new one. They're saying somewhere between $7,500 and $12,000. It's something that we got to deal with now because if we run out of hot water, we'll definitely be dealing with it later. If they file a civil action, if we don't have hot water, we'll have to move all the prisoners out and they'd have to be paying the county. Cell block doors. The motor that won't work correctly. It'll open them, but it won't shut them. It's not working correctly, new motors, because all our stuff's outdated. For lockdowns and stuff, you can manually do it, but it's not with the not working right. About 25% of all the alarms work right on the doors. Because like at nighttime when we lock them down, if something would go wrong and they shake the doors, it'll kick an alarm off. Only about 25% of them are working correctly. We're looking at some big expenses to get things done right.
John, the council approved, was it $13,500 for repairs and maintenance? What was that for?
That was what I asked for at the very beginning of the year, and it was to just make the place run with repairs and stuff like that.
So it wasn't really specific to a certain item?
No, just any maintenance and repair of the jail.
Are you out in that line item?
We're getting close. I think we have about, I can't say exactly, I'm saying we're somewhere around $3,000.
So last Tuesday, they approved the $13,500.
Go into that account.
And you anticipate using that in 4 months? For things aside from what you just mentioned?
Right, yes. That's just gonna make us run what we have now. I mean, I know I have the CCD fund, and I'm not sure exactly what's left in there, but that's what we're paying jail doors to be fixed out of. I don't know where else.
What's the progress on those?
They're getting fixed, but we've got a motor that's got to get either rewired somehow to where it will shut the door, because they don't make the motors that work on the jail doors now. This is the most comparable motor we have, we can buy now, and it has to be wired up differently to make it work right. Something needs to go the other way with it.
Do you know if he has any outstanding bills?
I know there's one coming in still.
Do you know how much that is?
I think he is turned into leave the other day. If it's not, it's going to be turned in this week. It may come through you guys today, I don't know.
I didn't see it on there.
Okay, it's probably not turned in yet.
No, but I saw him in town the other Frank. He told me how much it was.
Yeah. It's
You
probably-
have about $11,200 in the CCD. And you say this either will be between 7,500 and 12,000.
Now I'm looking at two different options there too, but the 75 and 12 was one big, like what we have, weather system. They also said there's a chance that we could run a series of 5 to give us as much water as we use. I don't know if that's the right way to go with it or not. So I'm also what kind of prices are on it. Probably go the cheaper route depending on what we decide to do. I mean, if you end up with a company wanting to build a jail, it's silly to put in that kind of money to something like that as to a cheaper route to get us by to.
What would the possibility be of moving that to a new jail at that time? The problem is if you got inmates, you can't work on food equipment, so you've got a problem and spend $12,000 thinking that you're gonna put that in a new jail.
It doesn't work, yeah.
Well, I mean, it might work in the new jail, but in the meantime, we need to get the prisoners while it's in transition to being moved to
Yeah.
a new facility.
Right.
But, I mean, John, in all reality, even if the new jail becomes a reality, it's not going to happen next year.
No,
It's many years.
no, we have to do something with it.
I understand that, but if you spend $12,000, hopefully, it's gonna last more.
Well, this one was put in 3, so it's lasted, I think they have like a 15-year lifespan. It's doubled, so it's been very good. We've got our money worth out of it, let's put it that way.
I would recommend that you explore both those options that you spoke about, and you do have available funds in CCD. If things get really bad, we can also use the CCD from other county properties. We can also transfer money from CCD landfill to the sheriff, because we're not anticipating using that. I don't know that we've ever used that. So we do have some options for you to pursue. And I mean, if you're telling us that it's imminent, then my recommendation is to go ahead and get your options and proceed. But as far as the one big one versus 5 small ones, that's.
Right. Yeah, let's say this, big ones are made pretty well. I found that out since it's been there since 84. But I think a lot of the rust is dropping down. Just won't stay on track.
Do they have them available?
I don't know that.
Yes,
They do?
there should be very, it's basically the same heater that the fairground uses outside of their big showers. It is industrial type, and it's like 6,500. And they said it's available all like short boots, not immediate.
I said, we're still resetting it about 3 or 4 times a day,
Yeah.
but, you know, we need to get it taken care of because we don't want to go totally out. And no hot water, especially for the
The hot water you.
kitchen.
You need to fix it.
Right.
Phil, did you say it was 6,500 on that you
That's
saw?
been 8 or 9 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they're pretty expensive. I've never had quite a lot expensive. Anything for me?
How many do you have? How many inmates do you have?
32. Back over the past.
An update on part of the motor control is, some time ago, they had a jail motor that was bad, and they do not make that tough. Those motors are wired, and they are job specific, strictly for the type of control they have. Matt brought to it, electric motor services has that he is trying to come up with a design that it can be portable with the type of control that is present.
Yeah, it's,
And it's,
they don't make the ones that we have. Nobody makes it.
you can't repair the motor because the old motor was discarded somehow.
Can't find parts. All right.
Well, I would, maybe just, do you not get a copy of, I'll just tell you that you have right now, it's 11,200, is what, what you have. Now, that doesn't include this bill from Evan.
Right.
So you need to take that off. See whatever that is. And as I said, we do have some more options if you,
I'll get, once I get something purchased and stuff, we'll figure out how we need to go about it. All right?
Thanks, John.
Yep.
Scott, hey, did you want Mr. Curtis in here when we discuss your issue? Because I think we'll go ahead and move you up in the agenda if you like.
No, everybody's here, so I'm trying to stay with what
Right.
the program is,
Okay.
how it was set up.
That's fine, we'll move on. That's what I'd ask.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And let's go ahead and take care of the minutes. Linda, we'll need you in just 2 minutes. We're gonna
Oh, I
take care of-
forget Jackie. Do you want Jackie?
Check. That'd be fine.
Very good, updated copy of the bridge is already there. county lease, okay, in June or January of 2012. We passed it. I made the motion to allow the fair board to enter into agreement with Cool Alliance and St. Harbor Second.
Well, the reason, I did find that too, the reason I was confused is because when we first approved it on March 2011, we approved it and said the county fund ground to Monsanto Chemical Company. And then the lease, I guess, was actually with Co-Alliance, so
And then it's a co-alliance.
So-
That's what the contract says too.
yeah, but when we first approved it, it was Monsanto. But I didn't know if there was a, since this contract is what we approved in 11, and it expired December 31st, do we need to then sign another one?
This is what we did. I think we gave them, the fair board entered into the contract, we gave them permission.
I could see here, it was signed on, oh, okay. So you think they did it? Okay. All right, now I'm fine with that then. I just was confused because it was a Monsanto in 1 year and Co-Alliance in the next.
Jackie, we're ready for you whenever you.
We are continuing to plug away. We spend a little more time than anticipated working on the budgets, training budgets, but the budgets are ready to go. I'm noticing in the newspaper advertising today. The advertising is done on time. I'm continuing to work on the ledgers, finding what is or is not received in the ledgers that are in the cash book. Preparing an Excel spreadsheet that shows all those differences, and I'll have that for the elected officials for them to decide which office is right and to make the corrections that need to be made. I'm currently almost done with July of 2011. And so it's a very time-consuming effort, unfortunately, and the reason being is the reports that are given to me, reports that are ran now, and no one has actual reports of the comparisons at the time. And so any changes that have been made since that time are reflected in the reports. Treasured like the cash flow is the way it was that day, and the reports that I'm looking at are the way it is today. So I'm looking for those differences in what changed. And sometimes they changed on the day. They went back and made them effective the day of the original check or receipt. And sometimes they did it in the future or the day they did it. And so there's no consistency there. And I talked to the auditor's office and the treasurer's office both, understanding the difference between the dates that they do it. And I encourage the auditor's office to make sure that they're working with the treasurer and avoiding them effective the day the treasurer needs it avoided, not just go back. And it should most times be today. If they're avoiding something, it should be today because it's been in the bank or not been in the bank for that period of time again. So, I mean, it's a learning curve thing, but it's coming, but that part of it is taking longer than I had hoped it would. I'm into the point now where we didn't have a lot of receipts and disbursements in August, September, and October. So I expect those 3 months to hopefully go a little bit quicker than the last ones have. May obviously was quite an ordeal with the taxation coming in. Because I'm also preparing the bank statements to make sure that what receipts are in when the report that the other person, Suzanne, gave you had EFTs that weren't put in, but she didn't put the day of whether they ever did come in or when they went out of her spreadsheet, what day they went in. And so I'm fixing that issue too, so that we have that history since we can't go back and change anything. We know what it is. We are, as you can see, we're up to 232 hours. So we're rounding down, and I think we're going to have to sit down as a group
given us a numerical list of priorities, and where are you on that
I'm
list?
still at that top one. We've done the budget, and the budget's getting advertised on time, so that's good. Because that was what failed in the budget process last year, and why we didn't have the budget very beginning of the year was denied. So that's good, and I've also provided Greg with an Excel spreadsheet that shows, that will make it easier for him to know where they are as far as above, over, or under the frozen levy, which will help in the future so that they don't budget too much and then the state come back and say, "I've got more." That's that spreadsheet. I'm still working on that top part. Really, the only other things are those drain funds and reviewing all in county general. But I'm kind of reviewing the receipts as they're coming in anyway, but by having to look at where they are and what's not there and what is there, that's kind of being looked. That shouldn't take all that long, because I am looking at a lot of those numbers now.
You had said that we were off with the bank.
You're on with the cash flow.
Okay, how much?
Well, I can't tell because until I get the entire thing done, I can't tell because there are things that in the past, like one day I was at the end of 1 month, you're $400 off, the next month it's $900. And it's because things overrode from month to month. The requitees were written out of the auditor's office one day and a different day on the treasurer's books. In July, for example, on the 29th of June, the auditor's office, the treasurer's office received $388,000 worth of EFTs. That receipt didn't go into the auditor's office until July. So at the end of that month, it appears that we're off. So I honestly can't tell you. I believe Bonita and Suzanne, until at the end of the year at least, and I'm not sure where she is now, but she's continuing to work with that side, is making sure that her cash flow is in balance with the bank. Her cash flow with the reconciliation is in balance with the bank at the end of the year. I think she's through January or February, maybe further, because I haven't asked her. But I know she continues to work on that side of it. What I'm working on is making sure these ledgers match that cash flow that matches the bank.
And these months you were talking about, you mean in 2011. So you haven't even gone into 2012.
And I know there's something wrong with last year's December 7th. I know there's knowledge there. Like $1,000. Only I think it might have been in May. You can write it down.
By the next meeting, then you'll have a better idea about
I should-
what the future holds and what the future needs may be,
Right.
and about setting down the capital.
Right. Sometime in the next 2 weeks after Labor Day, we could maybe take someone from the council and someone from the CR and with elected officials to sit down. I think that would be a good thing to just see what direction we want to go. Our diligent people.
Okay.
Are you typically in here certain days per week?
I'm not here very much at all because I get more done when I'm not here than when I am. I come on the day of the meeting and I'll stay right over today. But I tend to work from the office, have all the reports, and Philistine is going to connect me today so that I can view the ledgers from the office the same way I do here, just to view it for you. Because I spend time calling and having them look things up, that I can take care of myself and not bother with that when I visit. So I work mainly elsewhere because I take it more than. Okay.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you.
Linda Williamson, would you like to give us a report?
Sure. Good morning.
Morning.
like to first remind you of a couple of upcoming events for local elected officials. One is September 14th in French Lick. It's with the Indiana Economic Development Association. It's a presentation that includes mayors, commissioners, I'm not sure who else on that panel, and also about the role of working with your regional economic development and your local economic development organization, the role of local elected officials. Second thing that day is a presentation on doing due diligence on economic development projects, presented by Dan Hassler of the Indiana Economic Development Corporation. The second event is the regional local elected official breakfast on September 28th. That's from 8 to 10 a.m. in Delphi. I think you've all gotten email invitations, maybe mailed invitations. That'll include information, though, on the Regional Planning Council, which will gain more steam next year around the Comprehensive Economic Development Strategy that the Economic Development Administration and OPRA, Office of Community and Rural Affairs, has been completing this year. So a lot of good information coming up for regional. Another regional event that we did have in August that I participated in and marketed, the 5880 building, was the Grissom Refueling Mission. It's an annual event for site selectors and consultants. We had 11 come in this year, primarily from Chicago and Indianapolis, and as well as 3 folks from the Indiana Economic Development Corporation, including the Secretary of Commerce, Dan Hassler, for the trip on the 15th of August with the refueling mission. On the 14th of August, though, we held a reception and dinner, had the opportunity to share information about the building 5880, and good response. The marketing has been going well on that building. The video, I think you've all seen now, turned out really well, and we have just had incredible support. I wanted to mention from the Indiana Municipal Power Association, from Duke Energy, and from NIPSCO in helping market and helping identify additional resources for marketing. I have also been working with the local economic, on the local economic development organization, the position and description, as well as the position posting, hoping that that'll be approved pretty soon. The Lido, they have, as you know, the attorney who's working on, continues to work on the bylaws, as well as drafting contracts for the Lido with the city and county. Be happy to answer questions.
The regional group that was meeting that, Bob, I think you were on that regional group. What came out of that?
The SEDS regional group?
It was
Stephen Ray.
Stephen Ray, right. That's the Comprehensive Economic Development Strategy. They had the county and regional meetings, took that information back to draft it. There'll be a presentation of that coming up at IU Kokomo for the region, including all those that participated. But it's kind of in final drafting form, I think, by Okra.
You don't know when that will be.
I don't have a date for that, no.
Will they'll all be informed?
Oh yeah, as will you.
Thank you, Linda.
We're going to give Linda alternative instruction. She has a copy.
She should have a copy. contract, this change in this construction contract, you have a copy of that?
I guess I will. And now, I'm in the process. They, once I send it to them on Friday, come back and, some value wrong for provision that the AG just, it's a new law. So I'm in fact, that's who I was emailing right now. He must not have got it on Friday. So what it is the, adjustments that have made, and you might have to re-sign it again, so.
So this copy,
That is still in effect. Okay, there was a few changes that had to be made. I'll give you a copy of the read out of what John changed. But until I get this other provision that come in on Friday that he said it had to be in there, I will let you know. You know, and in fact, that's what I do. You guys call over here. So Mike said he didn't receive it. Duffy, which is the attorney for the ELGF. So
Linda, John sent on Saturday, he copied you, new construction contract. He says that we should take action on it today.
yes, and we were supposed to, but like I said, I had sent it to. I thought Mike would do it, you know, have it. Well, I just got an email, my email just about 5 minutes ago. He said that that provision has to be in there. Well, the provision was in there. I said it to him Friday. He must not have received it. So I will
So
see.
you believe the provision is in here that you need?
The provision that he has, yes, it's at the very end of the I read,
Right.
but before I have you guys sign, I will make sure that the OGF is approved it. So I'm hoping to have it before you guys, because I can print it out, I can print it off my computer and have it done, because what you guys signed the other day when you come in, it didn't have that. I run out of this provision. Well, when Mike sent it back to me, he said, well, the AG Attorney General says that has to be in there with all new contracts. So that's what we're trying to get through now, so.
so you may have to get this.
Right,
before we
in
go-
fact,
before
that's
we
what
go. Okay.
I'm hoping in the next half hour, an hour or so. Okay? Yeah. I'm gonna hold on to this for you.
Either way.
Okay.
Whatever
Bye.
suits you.
All right, thank you.
Okay. All right. Proposed ordinance in here, Commissioners of Tipton County, Indiana, ordinance 2012-09, ordinance establishing weight limits and prohibition of semi-tractor trucks on certain county roads. Whereas the Board of Commissioners, Tipton County, Indiana, is the governing body in charge of maintenance of all the Tipton County roads. Whereas the Board of County Commissioners desires to establish weight limits on certain Tipton County roads, and whereas the Board of County Commissioners are desirous to prohibit semi-tractor trailers on certain Tipton County roads. Now therefore be it ordained by the Board of County Commissioners of Tipton County, Indiana. Section 1, a person shall not operate or move upon certain Tipton County roads a vehicle of a weight that exceeds the limitation set forth on a sign posted upon or at the entrance to the following roads or a part of the road that is affected. Said restriction shall apply to the following Tipton County roads: Wood Drive, Wood Place, Lee Drive, Michael Lane, Candy Lane, Wayne Place, and Heather Place. These are streets in Prairie Acres. Tipton County may, Section 2, Tipton County may act under the provision of Indiana Code 9-20-1-3 to prohibit the operation of vehicles upon Tipton County roads or impose restrictions as to the weight of vehicles to be operated upon roads for a total period not more than 90 days in one calendar day when a road, by the reason of deterioration, rain, snow, or other climatic conditions, will be seriously damaged or destroyed without the regulation of vehicles. In such event, the Tipton County Highway Department shall post temporary road weight restriction signs in accordance with the requirements set forth in Indiana Code 9-20-1-3 to protect county roads during any period designated by the supervisor of the Tipton County Highway Department and the Tipton County Commissioners. The sign shall designate the maximum permitted gross weight per axle of a loaded motor vehicle that may travel on the road. Section 3, unless otherwise specified, the gross weight per per axle for a vehicle under section 2 is as follows. On a blacktop road, 8,000 pounds per axle. On a gravel road, 8,000 pounds per axle. Section 4, a person may not operate or move upon the following county roads: a semi-tractor trailer, wood drive, wood place, Lee Drive, Michael Lane, Kenny Lane, William Place, and Heather Place. Section 5, the provisions of this ordinance do not apply to local residential delivery vehicles, refuse, or trash collection trucks when engaged in regular trash pickups, school buses, or county-owned maintenance vehicles. Section 6, the Tipton County Sheriff's Department shall enforce this ordinance. Section 7, any person, firm, company, or other entity that violates the terms of this ordinance shall be subject to a penalty imposed by Tipton County, amount not to exceed $500 for each violation. In the event Tipton County is required to take legal actions by means of injunctive relief for otherwise to enforce the ordinance, and Tipton County shall prevail all legal action, then the person, firm, company, or other entity violating this ordinance shall be liable to Tipton County for all court costs and attorney fees incurred. This ordinance shall be in full force and effect from and after this passage and publication.
Okay, so that's the first reading. Greg, did you get a copy of this?
No.
Okay. It was submitted to us in a read-only format, so there's some misspellings, and I'll just see if I can ask John to send it to us in a format that we can make corrections, so then I'll send it up to you so you can have it.
We want to have the second reading next, or go into that one.
I think we ought to go ahead and wait another meeting and then at least inform the Prairie Acres people that we are going to act on it, allow them if they want to come. Make sure it's okay.
There's no next meeting is fine. There are some misspellings in here. First reading on that, and we'll take care of it at the next meeting. We can put that on the agenda, right, for the next meeting. We'll have the second reading and possibility adoption of that ordinance. We should get the payroll and someone's going to get there.
move we approve payroll check dated 8/31/2012 in the amount of $129,182.26.
Second.
We have a motion second on the floor to pay the payroll for the check date of August 31st, 2012, in the amount of $129,182.26. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Carried.
We've got claims in the amount of $257,654.57. I said it was you.
Here's this first one for Kara.
That is the one on the 19, Super 19 right away.
There was in the commissioner's sale, which came back June 11th. There was a short stretch, about 1,100 feet out of State Road 19 that was sold in that commissioner's sale. That should not have been sold. So in consultation with the treasurer, I was instructed by his SRI that we could invalidate the sale and send a refund to Mr. Dara, including $1.42 interest.
Oh, so that's what,
So
so it's a reimbursement.
It was reimbursement for the cancellation of that commissioner sale.
Okay.
Can you say the paper?
This is one to bring a copy of you
I
guys up to
know,
speed.
and that's why I didn't, because you guys know I have one.
Okay, then I had a question on this, the surveyor inspections, because the ledger we got on 8/24 does not show any money in that line, zero. And we're taking out $1,500.
There was a transfer made, because that was the one.
So that's the one you sent on Friday. So there isn't any money.
There was a transfer made, it may just not have reflected on this, and I apologize, it may be that it was too, or seen this too.
So was it a transfer of exactly that amount, the 1,500?
It was whatever the council had requested be done to change it. Right off the top of my head, now, I can't tell you exactly now. It's probably fairly close, actually, I think it was a little bit over.
Did that happen at the council meeting?
Yes.
So they put the money in?
Yes, it was advertised. Additional.
I have a question. On the ledger insurance. What's this one? The ledger insurance? Yeah, it's ledger insurance.
What page is that on?
That's on page 6.
This is for liability insurance for the leader of directors. And it's coming out of Project 52, but in 557.
When did we talk about that?
We've been in a commitment of $15,000. My car was contacting me and said, because there's a day that they need to be bonded before they start making their decisions on finances. I told him I would fill out the claim with this bond issues for the directors.
city helping with this?
Not yet. We've got all that extra money in 52, so we might as well spend it.
Well, they should have extra money in theirs because they haven't been paying for anything for 2 years. Right? City hasn't been paying anything for economic development since.
They are paying, the water. They are paying,
Still paying the what, the attorney fees?
part of it.
I was told by Don Carlo that the EDC is using that. But that was our tax money anyway, so they were doing that.
But Phil's right, we did make a commitment that we got them with expenses as they got started. I remember that.
I don't think they voted on that, but I think they should have really come to us and talked to us.
But we did this.
We voted on 15 times. Yes, sir.
When are we going to have the next alliance meeting to talk about that?
Last time I talked to Mike, he let me the impression that as soon as they get the lawyer gets the contracts drawn up, they will have the bylaws, they have the contracts ready to present. And so, according to Linda, they should hopefully during the next week have their ducks in a row and started, so.
Okay, I wanted to see that House Hill that we find too. That's on 8. Okay, the reason I'm questioning this one is because Phil and I are both on the steering committee for the comprehensive plan. And we have met one time, April 3rd, and we've never met again. And this claim will put us in expenditures of $32,000 out of 50. So it's almost 2/3 payment, and we've never seen or heard from them since April 3rd. Obviously, they itemize their services, however, I'm very disappointed in their communication and their promises that they made on the 3rd to meet with us routinely, and we've never seen them since.
Have they possibly met with the planning commission?
No, I'm on the planning commission. We've not met. We don't get any communications from them. They may have met with Steve, but the promise was that that's what the steering committee is for, is to be like the voice of the community to help them along in their efforts. And
Aren't they gathering information from the community?
well, there is a website that people can participate in, and I've also. My concern has been that some people they're not computer savvy, they have a hard time navigating the computer, and so we haven't had any meetings. We haven't had any community meetings. I'd just like to say how many people in this room have participated in the survey on the website?
There were 3 people back there.
3 back here.
Yeah.
You
So,
can make it.
in my house also. So, my point is that I don't think that it's, the information is getting disseminated well enough for us to have good community input on this comprehensive plan. The last time we had township meetings, and I thought those were very well attended, and I've asked for that to happen, and I've not received any reply. So, the last communication we got that the commissioners got from House Hill Levine said that their next meeting, they would proceed from that meeting to a draft document, which really concerned me because I thought after only 2 meetings, we're going to draft a document. So it is what it is, but we need to get better communication with these people.
So that's how we've been publicized it more. I mean, the Tribune put a big article in asking people and giving them how to contact us. We definitely need the word out there. People need to participate.
Well, I think,
Why haven't you gone on there yet?
Pardon me?
Why haven't you gone on the website?
I did take the website address and I set it on my desk, and I was gonna be doing it, I will. Okay.
see,
I didn't see
Why
it
haven't you
trade.
done it all?
I don't know why I asked Bob the same thing.
Why haven't you gone on the website yet and participated?
I just found out the last few days it was there.
and
People need to participate
Right.
before they react.
And the problem is that he said it's been up and running since May the 12th. So, here we are, almost 3 months later, and at the time the commissioners got the report, I think, it was July 24th, he said it's been operational since May 15th, and only one person had submitted any input. So we have a problem with getting people to participate. And I was hoping we could have some township meetings. For instance, the township meeting that the commissioners had, just a meet and greet type thing in Jefferson Township, or Perry Township, was very well attended, I thought. The one that we had at Liberty Baptist was well attended. So I think people would come to those if we have them available. But Mr. Househill said in April that we would reconvene in June and then reconvene in July, and we've never heard any more. So I'm sure we need to approve the claims, but I really think we need to get on track with having them be more visible in the community. So if anyone has any suggestions, or if anyone would like to have community meetings versus internet access, I think you need to make those wishes known too.
It needs to be out in the public too, when the deadline is for taking comments online. The community needs to know that there's people out there can put things off, or if they know that there's a deadline, they know what they're do it. They're already done it.
You guys look at meetings and
I looked through them.
Okay, I'll move that we approve claims for August 27, 2012, in the amount of $257,654.57.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on the floor to approve the claims for August 27, 2012, in the total of $257,654.57. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Jane, did this one come in when this Adams Camp on reconstruction, because it should have gone through the drainage board first? Or was it maybe something that came in from the last drainage board? Normally these drainage board claims come in. Right
On
on
the last page?
Yeah. I mean, I know what it is, but normally the drainage board approves theirs first.
Yeah, we're saying that.
Oh, we have to make, okay, that's what that is, okay.
Can you tell me what the name of that website is?
Yes, have it.
For the planning,
Yes.
www.hlplanning.com/Tipton County.
Thank you.
Everybody get that, or writing it down? Okay. Scott, you ready? Okay.
Good morning. For those who do not know me, I'm Scott Smith, president of Triple S Smith Farms and Sharkey Farms. Those of me today, those who are with me today are my wife, Terry Smith, my assistant farm manager, Glenn Hinkle, my office assistant, Christy Hinkle, Steve Smith, director of agriculture for Red Gold, and my local attorney, Vince Curtis. Our family farm is located in northern Tipton County, and I'm a lifelong resident of this county and have been engaged in farming for 37 years. Our farm produces commercial corn, soybeans, seed beans for Mexican Superior hybrids, and processing tomatoes for Red Gold beef. My wife and I employ 6 full-time employees who are residents of Tipton County. Also, we hire 23 seasonal employees, primarily for tomato production. During the time of their employment, they reside at our seasonal housing located on the farm. In May of this year, I received a call from Deputy Butch Gruber explaining there had been a complaint of road damage on Tipton County Road 625 North. I was accused of turning a tractor around on the road. The tracks coming from the field onto the road was from our tractor and tillage equipment exiting the field and not turning around on the road. We always use extreme caution when entering and exiting the fields with tractors and farm equipment not to damage the farm equipment or the roads. On May 14th, I received a certified letter from Larry Whitesell, Tipton County Highway Department Supervisor, restating that tracks during farm field damaged the chip seal surface on 625 North. I was informed that county roads are not to be used to turn equipment around on, but to carry traffic, and that no dirt or mud is to be left on the roads as it creates a traffic hazard. I was also reminded of an incident a year ago where an implement of ours during transport accidentally dropped onto a county bridge, damaging some surface areas. Soon after the damage was reported to me, our staff immediately went to the site, cleaned and removed the debris. The incident was clearly accidental and unavoidable. Last week, Commissioner Gene Harper was kind enough to inform me that I was publicly mentioned in the minutes of the recent commissioner meeting of damaging the county roads. I also understand that an article was printed in the Tipton Tribune stating something to this effect, although I have not seen that. The lack of professionalism and diplomacy from our county officials is very disappointing to me, and I feel that my integrity is being damaged from these allegations of turning around on the county road. I did not use Tipton County Road 625 to turn around on, but to exit from a specified area, drive to, and re-enter into another area of the field. This particular field was in tomatoes this year, which requires a weekly spray program for quality purposes. All of our tomato fields have a 10 to 20 foot roadway on every end, which is used to spray around the perimeters while inside the area. We have a specialized sprayer that is equipped with a 100-foot boom and broadcasts at the rate of 50 gallons per acre. The county road was merely used as a means of carrying my tractor and equipment from one area to another area or to exit the field for refilling needs, not to damage the field or mar the ground. Our equipment or labor from planting season through harvest never caused any road hazards to the public or damage to the road. I do understand that when the temperatures increase during the summer months, that chip seal roads were more subject to damage. I live in this community, a taxpayer, and I don't want to damage the roads that I travel on as well. We take every measure to prevent road hazards. For example, we use a highway brush, a graded bucket tractor, portable pressure washer, high volume washer, road cones with caution lights, flashing lights, caution signs, flying men, and reflective safety vests. My labor actually goes through a safety training class each year before the farming season ever begins. Gene Harper emailed me a proposed ordinance prohibiting use of the Tipton County roadways as a turnaround by tractors and semi-tractor trailers. This ordinance excludes emergency purposes, trash collection trucks, school buses, and county-owned maintenance vehicles. I feel that I will be singled out along with many other farmers for using farm equipment. For example, the May 14th letter I received stating I turned farm equipment around on the road is not true. when in fact I was only exiting the field and route to another field located in Howard County. I can think of many situations where turning off and onto the county roads for fields with farm influence could be in violation of such an ordinance, especially in Tipton County where agriculture is the #1 industry. It is almost impossible to not leave a track of a vehicle during the summer months. It is the purpose of this proposed ordinance to regulate when and where we can enter and exit our fields and how many times. Also last week, a former Tipton County Commissioner called my office and asked why a Triple S trailer carrying tomatoes drove onto his county road. And I immediately asked if the driver or vehicle caused any problem going down the road, and the answer was no. But he proceeded to tell me, using profanity, that he didn't want his road damaged. And I informed the past commissioner the driver had diverted his regular route and caused an unloading delay at the factory. Instead of waiting at the factory, he drove to a co-worker's residence. And at that point, the former commissioner said the trucker gets paid to wait on his load at the factory. I find it rude and disrespectful being harassed and talked to in that manner, especially from a former commissioner. I am a law-abiding citizen. I have great respect for the county property. I do not appreciate being accused of damaging our county roads when my intentions are one to use them. I will do my best to comply with any new ordinance, but please be mindful that I have to use the roads to enter and exit our fields. Whatever I can do to help alleviate road issues, I will respond to in a caring and professional manner. I'd like to take this time to thank Jane for her support and also Bill Herron for visiting with me yesterday. I have with me today some pictures I will share with you. I was taken with my phone. First 6 pictures are on 625, showing where I turn onto the road and back off the road. And 600, I have some on 600 north, as well as some other roads that doesn't even pertain to me. So I share these with you.
To provide some additional background information, I wanted to know that I was absent the meeting that this was first brought up, and so when I did listen to the tape and I heard that was being discussed, then as I told you, I felt that it was only proper for you to know that, and so that's why I came and visited you and told you what was going on, and I also went up to look at the roads myself to see what it was all about. And since the ordinance was drafted specifically to your situation, I thought it was only fair that you knew about that. So
I appreciate that. I did, you know, if it hadn't been for you, I wouldn't have had any idea it was public knowledge. I just didn't know. The thing about it, I didn't even know that I was doing anything wrong. I was using the road to turn onto, drive 100 to 200 feet, maybe 1,000 feet, turn back in. It all depends on the particular field situation. But, just turning around on the road, just going around, turning around on the roads, turning onto the roads, driving back onto the roads. That's what I was doing. One of the pictures that really stands out to me is on 625 on the north side edge of the road, which is where it joins on Meridian. On that particular area, we need to be bringing semis in from the north on that T road. We use 19 to come in and out. It's a state highway. It's a nice road to get off on. Turn on to 625 north. T road there at 625 and Meridian is very tight, especially with the semi trail. So we didn't use that road. There's pictures on number 7 and 8. It really, no, I'll take it back, 10 and 11. It really shows that what I'm talking about.
Well, after there had been a complaint, I did go up and drive around some of the fields and looked at after the tomatoes were already set. And I'm not interested in us doing an ordinance to correct the problem that we might possibly have, because if we have a problem in one area with one individual, it's not fair to the others to the farmers in the community to have an ordinance drafted just for that purpose. It's better to talk it out and
been drafted. Last conversation I had, was when we were talking about it, probably this meeting, is either that you guys want to look into that. So, the way it usually works, is I get a call from some, just run, maybe, and I could look at it. Calls late, and I got some calls about this March, and I'm going to person that.
I'm the same thing. I talked to Scott, and I received complaints from the neighbors, and the issue was when he would pull out of the tomato field and go back into the tomato field, the whole length of the field. And it was during the very hot times we had, and it was very evident that he was tearing the surface of the chip and seal off and bringing the oil to the surface. And I've talked to Scott about that, and he says he wasn't aware of it, but he would be willing to, change the process if that's necessary, which I'm satisfied with that. And if there is ever a problem, I'll call him personally.
Well, the field that I looked at, or fields that I looked at, there are no inroads on the tomato fields. It comes right up to the side, the rows are planted right up to the grass. That's on
That would be somewhat correct and incorrect. When we pull out the field going towards the road, we'll be back about 20 feet. And when we back the tractor up, turn around, pull up, back in, then the tomato plants are very close to the edge of the side edge. So it's 20 and then 0. So when I say 10 to 20 foot roadways, it's pretty accurate that we're in and out, in and out. The reason that we back the setter back up to the edge of the side edge to take off is that it's better to plant long than to plant short, because I can always diss them out, but if I don't plant them, I don't even have that option. My experience in raising tomatoes, and it has been for over 37 years, I've grown up in this business, that you need to make sure that you try to use your ground efficiently if you can, because if a 20-foot roadway can easily, with the amount of people I'm running here, can easily turn into 30, 35 feet, and first thing you know, they just turn around. They didn't get quite straightened up and backed up. They just take off and drop the planter, and you come back and you're like, I got a 30-foot roadway here. I didn't need that. Some fields we use inroads, some fields we don't. It kind of all depends on the layout of the field. But I raised pickles, pickling cucumbers for 26 years. I had 80-foot roadways that my dad and I would cut across roadways. And we use wagons, and field of cucumbers will range anywhere from 600 to 1,000 bushel an acre. And so with 200 bushel wagons back in that time, it's 300 bushel wagons. You can imagine how many wagons we took in and out, picked them every 3 days. And as you all know, that cucumbers are a July, August crop. So with that said, that's how we used to do that then. During this whole process of just turning out onto the road and driving down the road and turning back in the field, didn't even think I was doing anything wrong. Did I see my tracks? Yeah, I see my tracks going from 600 north, where I filled up with water to go to the field. I could track myself every time I made a turn to the field. It's chip and seal from the farm all the way to the field in most cases. So I just didn't even thought process of me tearing up the roads. Did I show black where I turned? Yeah, I did. I know that. Did I feel that was tearing up the road? No. Did I come out cautiously? Absolutely. See, there's two things I don't want to happen. I don't want to tear up the sprayer. I don't want to tear up the roads. So coming out quick with a 100-foot boom, it's not a good idea to get in a hurry. And I am the person that runs that sprayer 100% of the time. We sprayed tomatoes, for instance, approximately 15 times, and so 15 to 20 times. So a corn farmer is going to spray his field 2 times. I'll spray my field 20 times. That's because of the nature of the crop. And I'm going to spray in the summer months, and the corn will be sprayed in the spring. I started spring, and I go all the way to early fall spraying tomatoes. So it's the nature of the crop to produce quality products that we see in our grocery shelves. The reason to produce that is that's what we do. I've done that part.
It's unrealistic to even think about, because it's trying to hinder the farmer. I mean, especially a tomato crop, you're going to go in and out of the field 10 times more than a corn or bean field is. nobody can question or try to stop you from going in and out of your field. But the practice of pulling out, and turning around and going right back with the next rows, especially during the heat. When you were doing your pickles, it was gravel roads. So nobody, gravel, you just run a grader continuous down there. The chip and seal, when you tear the surface up from the shorter turns and going back, is what the complaints were. And we talked about that, and I'm content. I don't want to make an ordinance. I thought.
Keep in mind though, on May 14th, I received a letter from Larry, and then when Butch called me a week or so prior to that, I had just turned out of the field with the cat to go down the road, and I was in Howard County, field when he called. Didn't even realize anything had happened. And that was, by definition, called turning around on the road. So it's almost like a hand that I can't win, because by turning out on the road, and if it scuffs up the road, and I just turn out one time, I've already got myself in trouble. And I didn't even know it. So that's where we're at, and I can think of many instances, because I've farmed my whole life. I can think of so many instances that would apply to almost every farmer in the county, that somewhere along the line, he's going to enter the field on a chip and sealed road and maybe turn back into that field, that he would be in a violation. A semi-tractor going down and he parks the wrong way, and he's got to turn around. Mowing the side ditch, and you turn around and go mow the other side of the side ditch. He pulled out of the field to work ground, and he realizes from the other operator maybe planning that, this ground needs to be hit one more time. So he goes down the other road and turns back in, and starts working the ground the opposite angle, realizing that it needs to be hit one more time. It's a little too cloddy, and he didn't want to work where he just left, because he just worked that moist ground, so he's going down where it's aired out. But if he turns back in, so I feel like sometimes it's about the number of times, or how many times is part of it. But going back to the letter received, it was one time, and I just turned on to it. So to protect ourselves, that's why I'm here today, to find out. I will comply with any ordinance that is said and do my very best, but I can't promise you that this will not happen, of me turning out onto the road and getting a complaint. I can't promise that, because we are, there's only 2 tomato growers in here in Tipton County. So we are the ones that are probably more acceptable to driving on the roads in the month of July than what most other farmers would be at that time. So in the heat of the months. And so we had like 20 out of 31 days in the month of July were over 90 degrees. So with that said, the roads are hot. I knew they were coming. I got all my vehicles and my tractors to prove it. So that's where we're at. I don't want an ordinance either. I think it'd be terrible. But I also trying to find a way that if I just come out of the field once and I go into the other end of the field and I come back into the field, is that still a violation? And under the letter I received and the phone call I received, the answer would be yes. It's still a violation, or somebody's complaining about it. That's really the reason I'm here, is try to figure out what do we do to keep this from happening. Because I have to enter my fields. And so does every farmer.
I don't think there's support here to draft a new ordinance, and it's not practical. What you just said about just normal farming practices, it is a given all throughout the county. And there's less and less people that are involved in agriculture. We all know that. Those of us that farm, we know that. There's less and less people that know even where the food came from or comes from. So they don't understand just normal practices. So then that generates a complaint. Larry?
I hate to make things worse or whatever, but the fact of the matter is, the bridge thing I mentioned, the weather kept me moving a couple times. Here's pictures of that, actually, last week. I haven't fixed it because I don't have the equipment to fix it. And so, and I don't really care how it happened, accident or whatever could happen. It really needs to be addressed somehow, but the county doesn't have the equipment to fix it. What needs to happen is someone like one guard might be paid for this, like they're in the middle, what's left of our service, the bridge off, and put up, I think it's like an inch and a half probably,
something that's covered on liability insurance on the average normal business?
Probably, I don't know. You can see what it looks like there.
I've seen, I've been across that bridge, I know this one.
Do you remember the time frame, Larry, when that happened?
No, I don't understand.
I have my farm assistant manager was with me today, was driving that tractor when this happened. And we were all on it when this happened, after it happened. It was unavoidable. It was an accident. So it was just going across there and hydraulic cylinders and it went down. So that's what happened. We went and cleaned it up. So it's long and short of it, an accident. It wasn't unavoidable. I mean, it is what it is. We didn't mean for it to happen. We cleaned it up and apologized for it, moved on. That's all I could do. Didn't hurt anybody. Didn't tear anything up except for that. It didn't hurt the disc. Chipped the road there where it dropped. He wasn't going a great amount of speed. It was going between the bridge. Anyway, the disc is heavy. So when it dropped, the cylinder hydraulics back in and cleaned up the mess. Came back. So just that quick. As soon as we got I got notification through the radio that we had a problem. We addressed it.
Would your insurance carrier have anything that might cover something like this?
I don't know. It hasn't been brought up to our insurance.
Well, Scott, I'm not sure how it really got to the ordinance stage or how, it came to a point where we were paying the attorney to even draft the ordinance, but because the last I heard it was contact the county attorney to see what can be done, but I was disappointed that you weren't informed in front of us, or that none of us had talked to you. So that's why I made the effort to do that. And I think this is more productive right now, what we're doing now. And we can get to the bottom of the issue. And I'm certainly not in favor of legislating against a certain individual, and that's what I thought this ordinance was. I also did receive a phone call on Saturday about Smith Farms doing a truck going down a specific road, and it was called My Road. And I really think that it appears that there's some effort to, for some reason, target you right now, because you said you got a call, I got a call. Certainly have every right to go down any county road that you need to. That we've already deemed that the county roads are suitable for semi-traffic. So
we can't control that. We
I know
can't control what someone
you're not going to be able to control all the complaints that come in, because a lot of people out here in the country today, as you well know, aren't from the country. They're not from here. They're from inner city, and they're coming out. And so I want the complaints, not just for me, but other farmers of home facilities, just whatever.
well,
We're going to get them, and how I think what's important is how we address them. Is what's really important here, because I don't maliciously go out and try to tear up people's roads. That's not what I do. I'm trying to just make a living and produce tomato products and food for this country. That's what I'm doing. Just a small piece of the pie, but I'm trying to. That's what I'm providing.
Well, thank you, Scott, for coming in today. And like I said, it's pretty much support for an ordinance that I would not support myself. So
I thank you, everybody, for hearing me out, because I felt like that my integrity was being damaged, and I wasn't able to address myself publicly, that I was being talked about publicly, and I thought I need to set the record straight from my particular point of view.
well, the thing is, when a complaint comes in, the first thing to me is not to just jump on it and run with it. Well, what's the problem? To research it. To me, it wasn't to review. So to go beyond that, I wasn't interested in going beyond that.
To me, it was, but I didn't take it personally.
Yeah, I see the whole thing might be one of two ways that you gotta be handled. You can take a look and have Baumgartner go out there and see what it costs to go ahead and put blacktop out there, or we dismiss it as a normal farming procedure. where we at?
Well, I don't know. We're talking about two different things. We're talking about an accidental damage of the bridge, and
Will there be the bridges involved in this too, along with the road?
that
Oh, I
That
didn't know
was
about that.
an incident that happened
Bridge
last
too.
year.
2 years ago.
What's the bridge deal?
you know,
Just a disc drop.
the length of time that it's passed. I mean, it'd be nice if your insurance would pay to have someone go out there and patch it. That'd be great, but it's kind of like remembering that now. It's a little bit possibly risky, but
Thank you. How long is it?
It's been at least 2 years, about 2.5. Well, it's about 2 years ago last spring.
Addressed it, that's not good, we cleaned up for 3 weeks, we need to put it inside as we removed it from the dumpster. But it chipped it when it dropped, this is heavy. But there's a little berm when you go over to the, over the bridge, over the road onto the bridge. And we don't know if that rock made it pop, we just don't know. But anyway, it did, this happened. And, there's nothing we did or did not do to create it, it just happened. That's why they call them accidents. So it's an accidental. And I think probably everybody's had something like that. If you drove in pharmacy or all, that something like that's happened to us. I just happened to be on top of the bridge. So I had different things going on in my career. That's just one of them. Didn't like it. I'm not happy about it either, but it's an accident. I would apologize for it, clean it up, move forward. That's all I can do. And I say it never happened again, probably not on that bridge. But you know, things do happen. So, you know, we try to be good stewards of the road in our community. So,
thank you, Scott.
Scott, you had commented to me that you had some other news.
yes, I do. I'd like to bring Christy Hinkle here. She's in charge of my assistant secretary. She's in charge of our grant. She has some news for you. All of
Excuse me. We have been waiting patiently for good news, and it finally came to us, and we have been approved for our migrant housing. As soon as we have a meeting, you know, we will be contacting you to let you know all the details on it. So,
It's wonderful. Christy, can you refresh us on what our obligation will be?
it is, you will be receiving the money, and we also have Area 5 that they will make sure that the money is being dispersed properly, and basically it's the money's channeled through you to have things taken care of for the housing, all of the invoices. And
So the auditor will be writing those checks. Could you just very briefly give us a little synopsis so that people in the public who haven't heard this can know what it's for?
We have seasonal workers to help with the planting and harvest of the tomatoes, and we provide housing for while they are here working, and the housing is very minimal, and it is in very need of up to the standards of just basic standards of living. And in order for us to keep our seasonal workers, you know, we need better housing for them. That's better workers. It keeps the cost of food down also. So in a nutshell, it's a win-win for everybody.
So in applying for it is $50,000, correct? Was the grant, or no, it was more than that, I'm sorry.
It's around 300 and some thousand.
And it will take care of.
Scott, what is it?
It's over 400, it's very close to 500.
That's what I thought, it was close to $500,000.
About 400.
Yeah.
I was thinking that our share was $50,000, but it's actually only $5,000, right?
We also have somebody that's matching, so it's they are matching 100,000. Scott's providing 40,000, so that is a part of the 400 and some thousand.
You will be receiving
Administration fees.
$5,000 as a pass-through.
To run it here.
We don't know when this project's gonna start yet, but we just got the nod for the approval. It's been over a year, so we're very excited about it. It's a good thing for us, and it's a great thing for the community, and for our county. It's a win-win like this is.
The grant agreement will come to the commissioners for approval. Signature. That's great.
Thank you very much for the update.
Thank you for the news.
Okay, utility easement agreement. Who's here from the city?
Rick Tilley with the, represent the water department. Sure. Came up here today. Just asked it. Has to be yours.
This is the agreement for the water utility easement along 300 South on the county-owned property. And this is the actual signed agreement. It is about 1,918 linear feet to grant to the Tipton Municipal Utilities easement of 25-foot width.
And Larry, John Brook said that we need to ask you if there's any concerns that the highway department has. I mean, we've already talked about this and approved this.
I think it's a wonderful thing that the title may include that at that time. The fact of the matter is I have no say in it because that's the city road and that's the annex, so it's not mine. And the city doesn't require permits for that stuff anyway, so.
We had all we need to do was sign it. Part of it says executed this day, but I can find it's today that says this agreement is made.
I think we'll start there.
Good. When we start this?
I'm not really sure when Jeff's planning on starting it. I don't know if it'll be this year or maybe, may not be till spring next year or something. I'm not really sure.
Rick, this is yours then, and then if you would stop by the auditor's office and have them make a copy, and for our records, and then have them include, we keep this and a copy and take the original.
Thank you. Rick Burnett.
Good morning, Commissioners. The last 3 years, General Motors has tried to pick regional events throughout the Midwest to promote their Buick, Chevrolet, and GMC product. The Tipton County Pork Festival is one of their top 10 events in the Midwest that they feel is very effective for them doing this. They very much appreciate the last 2 years that you granted them to be on the front lawn during the Pork Festival. Their displays are quite thorough in the great product General Motors has. I'm very happy with the attendance that the Pork Festival provides to see that. And they are asking again to be on the front lawn during that time. That would be Thursday the 6th, 7th, and 8th. Probably would set up in the afternoon of the 5th, possibly. But they have asked me to, once again, ask for your blessing. The Pork Festival has, of course, had no complaints. There's no interruption to the programming and format of the Pork Festival. and has asked if you guys would consider to allow them to come back for the third year.
When on Wednesday would you come back?
Well, I doubt if they'll set up Wednesday night. They could show up normally Thursday mornings, but they did say they weren't sure if they'd be in the region a day early. So I would say sometime afternoon, I guess.
I sure don't have a problem with it.
I don't have a problem.
Okay, very good. Well, I appreciate that. And
Yeah, let's just have
I
a
move they
motion.
allow Dan Young to use the courthouse sidewalks to set up a car display. That's a sidewalk sign.
yeah, they park those and there's a tent, won't line.
All right, second.
Okay, we have motion second to allow Dan Young and General Motors to use the front of the courthouse for display during the Port Festival. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you, Brett. Any questions from the audience?
On the comprehensive plan on the website, is there any idea how many surveys that would?
I don't know.
They don't tell us that either.
You said there was only one,
On July 24th, there was one.
and obviously they look like that kind of.
That's why I wish that we would have a meeting so that we could get this worked out.
Any other questions?
So after, Mr. Smith was here, so I think it's not against the law to around the road.
It's not against the law to use the roads as they are designed to be used, intended to be used.
Was there damage, you said something on the bridge also, that was
And that happened in the past.
well before him. And then he hits that spot and then that's what damages the road.
They damaged the road 2 years ago.
Yeah, I think they were doing a better time.
I think he stated 2.5 years ago, and there was a bump there, and I think that's probably what caused
And
it.
that's what causes the problem, right?
Yeah.
We haven't been able to fix that part of the bridge or anything, I mean, it's just one of these deals, but it continue to create a problem.
It's not any different than a lot of other bridges. We have a motion to adjourn. We have a motion second on the floor to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.